You know, it's hard to believe that there are real people like this. I mean, Hannibal Lecter was the comparison, and you know, these are movies that we watch, but there are actual human beings like this. Let's bring back in our think tank. Christa Ramey, you're out there in California. The Golden State Killer, I mean, county after county, decade after decade, and finally some justice here. To me, though, it's just so hard to believe that there are humans like this that actually exist.
Well, you know, this is particularly important to me, not just because I'm a Californian, but my family, I'm a victim of violent crime. My aunt was murdered. And the fact that this judge is going to allow these victim impact statements, I think, is hugely important for the family to be able to talk about how this impacted not only your life, but your family's life, and what this person was that is no longer with you is so hugely important. We know what his sentence is going to be, but the fact that we get to hear and he has to listen to these victims talk is important. He doesn't have much life left in him. So I'm grateful that this judge is allowing this to play out the way it's playing out.
Yeah, you know, Renee, part of the deal, you know, I hate making deals with people like this, but part of what they were able to get was him to admit to some things that the statute of limitations had run on. So you're concluding some cases, getting some level of, okay, he's responsible for this, and this. Right. At the end of the day, though, I mean, this guy for 40 years is able to get away with it. And as a former police officer, I've got to think that helped him a lot.
Oh, I'm sure it did. You know, as a former police officer, he knows the ins and outs. You know, he knows how a case is going to be investigated, what officers or investigators are going to be looking for. So it gave him, you know, the inside track, so to speak, to be able to continuously commit these crimes and go undetected for so many years. And, you know, it's just absolutely horrific. He was a one-man crime spree, 13 murders, 50 rapes, all the other things that he admitted to. And because of the potential problems that the prosecutors could have had with some things, the elderly witnesses, they needed to make a deal here that they thought was best for the prosecution and for the family of these victims so that they could have closure. And that's what they're getting. And like Christa said, you know, they're going to have the opportunity to speak, to give their victim impact statements. Despite the fact that they know what the sentence is going to be, it will give them that closure to be able to state how this has affected them and impacted their lives.
Yeah, Christa, the other thing is this guy with his little feeble routine, right? He's out riding his motorcycle, then all of a sudden he's under arrest, and like all of a sudden he needs a wheelchair, he doesn't understand anything, he's drooling. I mean, it's so transparent.
You see that a lot, don't you? I mean, we saw it with Harvey Weinstein. We see that a lot. You know, once they're caught and they're all of a sudden they're weak, and so I'm not surprised.
You know
I'm not surprised.
I mean, it's the stress. It's the stress of the case once the arrest comes down, and that affects the body. And so, you know, I mean, they start to break down, and we saw it with Harvey. And I don't think Harvey was faking when he needed the walker. He was having problems, but it's, you know, it's stressful once you get arrested.
Thank God it is, right?
Yeah, this guy's a faker, though. This guy's an absolute faker because he's done it before. When he got arrested, when he was still a cop, he feigned a heart attack to try to get out of it. But that's who he is. Anyhow, let's put him in the rearview mirror, although we still have the sentencing coming up next week, and we'll be covering that. When we come back, I want to look forward to a case that's on the